Hey y'all, HH-BlueDynamite here, the number two Hazbin Blue, here for another Hazbin Hotel theory video of sorts, I guess you could say. I mean, every now and again I get confused which I can make a theory or a topic video, but I guess easy way to think about it is that, like, having an idea, sticking with an idea, you can say that's a theory, whereas topics is that not 100% sure, so yeah. This one is pretty much going to be about a certain has-been pair, if you will, for Has-Been Hotel, and that being Husk and Angel, and pretty much the future of whatever sort of relationship that could come out of this, and that will they eventually grow to be close, because, well, we've seen how they kind of interact in the pilot episode. Angel hit on Husk when he arrived, and of course Husk kind of like shot him down. And at the end, after Alistair Cthulhu'd Serpentius, he blew a kiss at Husk, and Husk has a different reaction in that he just kind of looks surprised at him. So it does make me think, would something kind of come around with these two? Like, what kind of relationship, what kind of bond would these two grow to have? So, for the way I can imagine how this would work is Angel, like, this would be like probably like a running gag sort of deal that Angel would occasionally flirt with Husk with any chance he can get, maybe with some sexual innuendos that for whatever reason I have a lot of in my head for some reason. Y'all check out my fan fiction over at Archive of Our Own. And of course, Husk would try and brush him off. And you can imagine this being like kind of like a funny background event that's while something is happening in the foreground, possibly something a little bit more serious. Whereas in the background, you could see Angel just, again, trying to like hit on Husk and all that. And it's kind of like it can be seen as like a comedy routine and that sort of deal, but it can also lead to something more intimate for some intimate moments. A running gag doesn't always have to be just a running gag. Sometimes at some point it can turn into something even bigger. Case in point, the only thing I can think of in terms of stuff like that, like a running gag becoming something a little bit more serious, is, I guess, Ruby. There's a character named Crow where he it's one of those tropes that he's a drunkard, and usually is play up for laughs with certain issues, and sometimes during awesome moments, like just because he's inebriated and or intoxicated, I should say, he was still able to hold his own in a battle, as well as kind of like breaking the tension of sorts of a situation by being a kind of like a silly drunk, if you will. But then, depending on the situation, his his drinking, his alcoholism does take in a more serious light. And I think even like recent as in volume 7 and that he's starting to drink less because it like there's nothing wrong with drinking, obviously, but don't use it as a coping mechanism. So I can kind of see that at some point, as certain parts of the series, if this would be like a running gag, there would be a little bit more intimate moments between the two. When I was really thinking into this, while they do have some, differences between each other, there's also, like, they're also not all that different. They possibly have both experience have with firearms if Husk, still being a war vet, just not a Vietnam War vet, can still hold true And of course, Angel does. I mean, we've seen what he's done in the pilot, as well as him being part of the mafia. So they both have experience with firearms, so we can probably see moments where, like episodes where Angel will probably drag Husk into certain fights, much to, Maggie's chagrin and the like and whatever. They also don't have much of a care in the world, but kind of like in a different way. Husk is just more apathetic about it, whereas Angel is just like, he likes to throw caution to the wind. He's kind of a daredevil, a loose cannon in that sort of sense. They also have some level of self-loathing, as well as low opinions of themselves. You don't think much when it comes to Angel, but when you see about how Valentino treats him, yeah, he probably he probably has a high opinion in a sense of his prowess, his position as a porn star. He's probably proud of that, but him as a person, as well as with Husk, they have low opinions of themselves and some level of self-loathing, especially with Husk saying that, he lost the ability to love years ago, which may become part of this plot point that I'm talking about here. So this kind of like gives headway to I'm starting to think there might be some themes to certain types of these relationships, and for Husk and Angel it could be self-worth. Husk despises his form, his demon form, for whatever reason, where and it could probably be more emphasis with the whole like him being lackadaisical, because being a cat mom of sorts to three, they're a bunch of lazy mofos. Yes, I'm talking about you. But he also has those wings. Could be a metaphorical thing that his form is like basically making fun of him and his decisions, I guess you could say. Whereas Angel embraced his appearance, because he's in a sense sexy. He's good looking. He likes the way he looks, except for his feet for some reason. And I know this is an Instagram thing, like the next two things I'm about to talk about. But here's how I see about these. I've been told that the Instagram posts are not canon. But the thing that confuses me about them is that certain, like say the Hell of a Boss stuff, some of the things there are non-canon. But then you got, like say those eels, those electric eels that later appear, I think, in the first episode, as well as the book and Blitz's love for horses that gets carried over into Hell of a Boss. So the way that I see it, certain things are canon, but some of the storylines aren't canon. Like say that this thing that was going on with Blitz, him being abducted, that probably never happened. But when we see how much his coworkers and Stolas cared for him, that's probably canon. Just that the story within that wasn't canon. So perhaps what's going on between Husk and Angel may at some point be canon, but some of the stories there wasn't canon. Like say, I guess, Husk going over to his workplace to give him some food to eat. I don't think Valentino would want that to happen, because, well, that's what toxic people kind of do to their significant others, and that they try to isolate them from other people. But this kind of shows that while the stories themselves are non-canon, the emotions behind it are. And that perhaps at some point Angel would make Husk Fat Nugget's pet sitter because he grows to trust him. And Husk very much openly shows his contempt towards Valentino. I can imagine that he probably hates Valentino for realsies, and he would very much, has a few words to say about him towards Angel. Of course, Angel might wind up, trying to defend Valentino again. I guess that's a thing. I need to read up more about like toxic relationships, but I think that's what happens, in that they try to sympathize with their abuser because it's like it's like they were like trained to do that, if you will. That they were not gaslighting. That's something totally different. I guess that's messing with somebody psychological. Well, maybe, I don't know. Anyways, Husk obviously hates Valentino. There might be a plot point where Angel kind of like, disregards Husk's, words, saying like he has no idea what the hell he's talking about. But at some point, like, he will grow to trust Husk even more. And this kind of gives way to, like, how would they develop because of their influence with each other. And this sort of storyline that I'm thinking about, and that again is a story of self-worth. Husk will find self-worth in himself and realize he can and be loved, as well as Angel, because like I said previously, that Angel, he has a lot on his plate, in a sense that he has to deal with the likes of Valentino. I would imagine that Angel does love his job. It's just that Valentino kind of sucks the fun out of it. He ruins it for him. And maybe because it's revealed that at some point Angel would get a boyfriend at some point in the series. Maybe Angel Husk, Husk does Husk, whatever you want to call it, might be a possible thing that's going to happen. And that they will grow as people and help with each other with your issues. Because really, the first step to love, like loving others, is to love yourself. Not in a narcissistic way, but to love yourself as a person. And yeah, I kind of think this may be a thing that might happen later on down the line for these two. These lovely has-beens, I guess. And that's it on this video. What do you guys think about the relationship that might unfold between Husk and Angel? Would it be romantic? Would it be just platonic, or like a bit of a bromance, if you will? I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. Like a look into like the relationships between the characters and how would they grow or, manifest as the series will go on. I'm thinking about doing one for Charlie and Baggy. Obviously, they're already in an established relationship, but how would, like, that grow? How would that develop in the actual series as, the plots go on and whatever? So tell me, guys, what you think. Leave comments down below. Please don't attack each other in terms of shipping. All ships are valid, but please be civil about it. And without further ado, have a blessed day, and please